Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Prime Prospects. We're coming to you from the NAB AFL Draft Combine Cal. It's a very exciting week, but even more exciting was to see the Under-18s All-Stars match on Saturday, grand final day at the MCG, and we had some fantastic performances. Let's start with WA tall Oscar Allen.
He was terrific. Haven't seen him live for a little while since the championships. Obviously the Lark medalist there for WA at Under-18 level, so coming off a really impressive carnival there. But was outstanding again at the MCG on Saturday morning. Kicked 2 goals, 3, had plenty of marks. Look, he's only 191 centimetres tall, and I say only, but that's not that big for a key forward. But he's got a great leap, and he's got a great stretch above his head, so he can mark quite well above there. He leads up and back. He's a really hard worker. He uses the ball pretty nicely as well. Missed a couple of shots that he probably would kick generally. He is generally a pretty good set shot for goal. So been a really consistent season for him, and he tapped that off on the weekend with a good performance for the All-Stars. So I see him somewhere sitting in the top 20 to 25 picks. Not a whole lot of key forwards in this year's draft, but Oscar Allen certainly pushed his credentials again on the weekend. Yeah,
it was fantastic to watch him out there on the G, from a tall to a small from the Bendigo Pioneers. And Brent Daniels, I'm nearly taller than him. Not quite, I think he's just got me, but he had another solid performance.
He just walked past us on the combine. He's not a big guy, but geez, he had a big influence on the weekend. He darts around, he uses the ball really well. He's a smart user of the footy. He picks the right options. It's been a tough year for him in some cases. He hasn't played great footy for Bendigo. It's been hard to play great footy for Bendigo at TRC Cup level, but he's creative, he's really clever with the footy, and he always has a go. He's got a bit of tenacity to him as well. I see him sitting somewhere above the sort of pick 30. He's a smaller type, so we know that they can sort of push back a little bit down the order, but what he does bring is a fair bit of spark to a team.
And how did you see Lockie O'Brien's game?
Well, he was a Bendigo teammate of Brent Daniels, and this was probably one of Lockie's best games off the season. Had 24 touches, kicked a nice goal, spent a bit more time up forward, uses the ball so nicely with that left foot, runs really well. I think it was a good finish to his season. I think he can sometimes be a little bit forgotten in terms of what he's able to produce, because his season's been a little bit up and down with injury and a few frustrations there. So look, he's a top running midfielder, running carry player, and I think clubs who need that running carry should look really hard at Lockie O'Brien, and he showed why on the weekend.
We saw Nakia Cockatoo a couple of years ago really push his draft chances with a solid, or really an outstanding performance at the MCG on grand final day. Who pushed their case up there on the weekend?
Well, Jaden Stevenson just reminded everyone of his talents. 3 goals, 25 or so touches, and was just outstanding from start to finish. Really has had an outstanding season through the midfield there, so he was one, I think. He just reminded everyone how good he can be. But the 3 we mentioned before, Oscar Allen, Brent Daniels, and also Lockie O'Brien, were some who we thought were some of the better performers in the All-Stars game, and we look forward to seeing how they go in Combine this week.
Beautiful. Thanks, Cal. For all of your draft news, keep clicking back to afl.com.au.